The pulp mill dispute was a dispute between Argentina and Uruguay concerning the construction of pulp mills on the Uruguay River. The presidents at the time were Néstor Kirchner, Argentina, and Tabaré Vázquez, Uruguay. As a diplomatic, economic, and public relations conflict between both parties, the dispute also affected tourism and transportation, as well as the otherwise amicable relations between the two countries. The effect was unprecedented between the two countries, which have shared historical and cultural ties.
Against massive local resistance from residents and environmental groups, despite the opposition of the government of Argentina, and despite an escalating bilateral conflict between two otherwise friendly neighbors caused by the project, Argentina and Uruguay, the Finnish pulp company Oy Metsä Botnia inaugurated in November 2007, one of the Latin America's largest pulp mills on a border river between Uruguay and Argentina. As recent as April 2008, tens of thousands of people marched peacefully on the border to oppose the investment. The plant is located on the Uruguayan shores of the Uruguay River, the major international waterway between Argentina and Uruguay. The site location is dangerously and controversially ill-placed, just a mere kilometer away from the drinking water intake of Fray Bentos, an Uruguayan city of 35,000 and about 12 kilometers directly facing of Argentina's prime tourist beaches and vacation resorts at the locality of Gualeguaychú. Botnia failed to consult or address the concerns of local stakeholders, including Uruguayan environmental groups and the entire community, population 80,000, who live just across the border from the mill site but entirely within the established zone of impact as determined by the World Bank. Local stakeholders point at a condemning audit by the World Bank compliance advisory Ombudsman, which was completely ignored by International Finance Corporation and by Botnia as the project went forward with World Bank financing. Since November 2007, stakeholders have already been sensing and complaining about the foul odors typical of pulp production emitted by Botnia. Botnia claims it has done everything by the book, that it has necessary operating permits, that it does not contaminate, and that the deep conflict that has arisen has nothing to do with them.
A study carried out by the Uruguay River Administrative Commission revealed that the river shared between Argentina and Uruguay presents values higher than established concentration limits of 13 parameters, among which are numerous metals, oils, fats, bacteria from excrement, and pesticides. Iron, oils, and fats, and total phenolic substances consistently exceed allowable levels. Iron fails in 100% of the cases, with significantly higher values at the entrance of the shared section and at Punta Las Rosas right bank than those detected in the remaining sectors of the central and southern zones.
Oils and fats were exceed 123 times in a wide range of sites and dates, while total phenolic substances were exceed 121 times, 73%. The concentrations were lowest in November. Copper exceed the standard 73 times, 43% of the samples, with the most frequent non-compliances with the highest concentrations in July and November, while chromium in 38 cases, 23%, and zinc in 8 samples, less than 5%.
February 2006. On February 6, Uruguayan President Tabaré Vázquez acknowledged that he had spoken on the phone to Argentine President Néstor Kirchner the previous week in order to look for a solution of the conflict. On February 3, members of the Gualeguaychú Environmental Assembly had started a long-term blockade of Route 136 leading to the Libertador General San Martín Bridge and to Fray Bentos.
During their state visit to Chile on 11 March for the inauguration of President Michelle Bachelet, President Nestor Kirchner and Tabre Vázquez met and discussed the situation personally. They jointly asked the participants for the suspension of both construction of the pulp mills and the roadblocks in order to discuss the matter. Two new meetings were scheduled to take place in Anchorena, Uruguay, and Mar del Plata, Argentina. In the following days, President Vázquez was harshly criticized by the political opposition and backtracked publicly, stating that Uruguay will not negotiate under pressure.
April 2006. Catholic Church leaders in both vowed to facilitate the dialogue, though specifically not to act as mediators. The government of Finland and Spain denied the possibility of intervening in the affairs involving Botnia and ENCE. The Finnish Minister of Foreign Trade and Cooperation for Development, Paula Lehtomäki, cancelled a visit to Argentina, citing a concern that she might not be welcome, and stated that the conflict was to be solved among Argentina, Uruguay, and the private companies.
On 3 May, Argentina formally presented its complaint before the International Court of Justice, accusing Uruguay of violating the Uruguay River Statute by authorizing the construction of the mills without prior consultation with Argentina.
August and September 2006. The 6th of August, taking advantage of the high circulation of vehicles due to the winter vacations, residents of Concepción del Uruguay, Gualeguaychú, Colón, and other towns, along with some Uruguayan families, handed out flyers to drivers along National Route 14 to raise awareness about the risks of pollution and inform them about their demands.
On 15 October, La Nación published a beach photo presenting the visual impact of the pulp mill on Nandubai Sal Beach. However, the photo had been taken with a 300-meter telephoto lens. The mill, hardly visible the horizon in the 12-kilometer distance, is presented to be located in the island close to the Argentinian coast. On 13 December, the Spanish company ENCE, owner of one of the plant's two mills, announced that it will move the mill 250 kilometers south of its original position away from the Uruguay River after negotiations with the Argentinian and Uruguayan governments, the remaining mill owned by the Finnish company Botnia.
At first, we didn't know that this case existed. When we started to investigate, we realized that it's very useful and interesting to talk about, and it was surprising to find out that thousands of people marched peacefully on the border to oppose the investment. It was really disappointing to find out that Botnia failed to consult or address the concerns of local stakeholders, including Uruguayan environmental groups and the entire community, who live just across the border from the mill site, but entirely within the established zone of impact.